Hi everyone, and welcome to the Adobe Live show about UX design. This is the second day of the week dedicated to UX design, live on Behance, and our guest for the next 2 hours is Zack. Hi, Zack.
Hello.
Doing good today?
Yes, very nice.
Up to a new challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you missed the first episode yesterday, you can watch a replay on YouTube. But basically, the challenge is that we don't know what will be the theme of the app that Zack will prototype. He will explain also the basics of the process, I would say, to achieve an experience that makes sense. Something that usually takes 12 weeks in an agency, but with Zack, we only have 2 hours. But hopefully it will help you understanding that when you have a problem, to solve this problem with design, that you have multiple steps before just jumping into the tool and start designing the experience.
Sure, yeah.
So Zack, if you want to introduce you maybe quickly again to the audience. Maybe you have a new biography today?
No, I think everyone here knows who I am. I'm pretty well known around these parts, so it's rare that I need to introduce myself to someone. Well,
a leader in the industry and
a thought leader, really,
in the industry and for the country.
Kind of an ideological mentor. We went and got acupuncture yesterday after the show.
In the tenderloin.
Well,
so much more
relaxed. And feeling a little bit more focused on what we want to do today, and so we're gonna go ahead and do a randomly generated idea again, but this time we're gonna try and introduce a little bit more structure into the equation. For some of the slower members in the audience to follow, Justin Mrazek
Justin is back again. So, Justin told us you were way too fast.
Yeah, and it's fair.
Needs a slow pace,
a lot of people out there are like Justin. So I was gonna start with another another intro that I put together, and it's kind of the same philosophy of just what is the kind of UX process that we follow.
Yeah, with still this very modern imagery and
state of the art 1993 visuals. Like you were saying, we have kind of a UX process where I work, and it doesn't necessarily take 12 weeks in its entirety, but rather the idea of creating an app in 2 hours is ridiculous, and typically you spend weeks and weeks coming up with really solid ideas and validating them, and not just jumping in immediately. So from a high level perspective, and this is very much what we talked about yesterday, but just kind of honed in for some of the audience members that have trouble following sentences. A list view, it might be easier.
Yeah, thanks.
So we're going to kind of build this app out today based on this kind of flow, mostly the first 3 steps.
Okay.
So just to reiterate everything, when we come up with an app, we typically start out with this kind of workshop with the stakeholders. So whether that's like yesterday, wealthy oligarch.
It's a man, he wants to invest, to pay tribute to his family.
Right.
Having a furniture maker as a mother and a taxi driver as a dad.
Right. Or he just has a lot of oil money that he needs to launder out of Azerbaijan, for instance. But either way, so we meet with the stakeholder, we understand what they want to do, and then we get into research, and we make kind of a research plan, and we follow certain protocols. We try and validate the idea and figure out, okay, is this something worth doing in the first place, and what is kind of the world surrounding this idea or thing that we want to build. Then we do some competitive benchmarking. We figure out, okay, so who else is doing this? What are they doing? What works? What doesn't? And then we get into the kind of strategy part, and that's what we did live on the air yesterday. It was very chaotic because it typically is chaotic. You're trying to take the whole world and everything that's possible and hone it into what you want to make. So we create these personas based on who we think is the target user, and then we make these journeys based on those personas, like what is the ideal way that this human in the world would go through this process. And then from those journeys we say, okay, so what features do we need in our app or our product to support that and to make that happen? And then once we have this kind of good understanding of, okay, these are the people. For instance, the bespoke artisanal furniture designer is our persona. and the journey is for them to get in touch with the customer. This is in reference to Fuber.
Yeah, so it was the case yesterday. So yesterday we use a website that we will also use today that generates ideas for apps really randomly. And yesterday we picked up Uber for furniture experts. So if you didn't watch, I really invite you to watch. It's really about the process. First to define the goals of the app. I mean, it wasn't that easy. And then the user personalized the expectations, the features also for the MCP. Maybe you can explain what this is. Yeah.
Right. So basically, once we have the idea of who's using this and what the general concept and purpose and goals of the app is, whether or not it's to honor your heritage in the taxi business or it's to sell out to Facebook, there's typically goals of the app, and then there are the features that need to help the user arrive at those goals. And so when we say MCP, that's really a very fancy acronym that stands for minimum compelling product. So not what's viable, but what is compelling and worth making. Because it's worth remembering that the average person downloads, do you know how many apps the average person downloads a month? Do you know?
I would say per month, I don't know, 4?
Zero.
Okay.
True. It's true.
It's a good average.
Yeah.
So they don't download apps?
No, people don't download apps. So, well, they do sometimes. You have some apps on your phone, I take it.
Yeah.
But in general, people don't really download things. So you need to make it compelling to stand out. And as we become more and more saturated in this world of apps and then giant industry competitors, there's very few things that actually are able to stand out and deliver value that aren't just immediately eaten up by the bigger competitors.
I see we have some people joining us today. I see Nicholas. I saw Marco also. They have questions more about how you would define UX design and UI, UI design, the differences.
There's a really good Twitter channel called UI versus UX.
Okay.
Have you seen that before?
No.
But it doesn't really address like fundamentally difference, and it is a really blurry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is an overlap. Yeah.
There's definitely an overlap, and I think just looking at this very boring chart, the kind of difference between UI and UX is that UX is very much, at least in the way that I practice it, very much focused on the background, the research, the kind of like foundations of coming up with the design thinking and the idea and the research and everything that kind of appears before the actual visual design appears on stage. And typically in the way that we do it, you have this sequence of journeys and storyboards and interaction sketches and this gradual build-up to what eventually becomes wireframes on a screen. And that's when UI starts to kind of show up and taking those like very rough concepts and ideas and kind of giving visual life to them. And then they kind of merge together. So,
Thanks for clarifying the situation for newcomers. And because you are like this legend, I would say, in the UX industry, you have your fan base, coming every day.
Yeah, Cecilia.
And I see some new fans today. I see Cecilia, but there are some new. There is a giant frog also.
There's a giant frog.
There's a giant frog today
that likes to show up. Anyway,
so Nancy was asking. So UX stands for user experience. And not UE, and UI for user interface, and
So,
but keep asking questions. I mean, Zack is with us to answer all your questions.
And a lively discussion going on as well. Anyways, so in the interest of time, we're just going to kind of zoom through the process and try and maybe make a little bit more headway into our app today.
Okay.
Yesterday, I think, was great, and it taught us not only about the incredible difficulty in coming up with an app in 2 hours, but also how many questions are posed just at the very inception of making just the most basic and nonsensical app. Even the idea of just like, how do you ask someone what kind of furniture they like opens up this world. And luckily we had a very...
so it's first, how do you ask?
Yeah.
And how the user can answer this question.
Yeah.
What type of interaction will work.
Yeah. So what we're going to do today, ideally...
So Jen is asking, wow, the conversation is weird in the chat.
Yeah.
So, Jen, so So Zach, you work for Ammunition,
Yes.
yeah, which is an agency in San Francisco, actually. And we suspect that there are some ammunition volunteers.
There are.
in the
And
chat.
also, Marco Fulgoni is an old friend of mine. We met in Malaysia, and I don't think he was ever allowed back here. I think they kept him over there.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
must be very late, his time zone. But all the same,
Yeah.
very good to see you,
Thanks
Marco.
for watching.
Yeah. So we have these UX concepts where we then kind of draw out like a little bit more of like an aspirational idea of like what is this app going to be like, and how is it going to exist in the world, and what are all these different angles and perspectives use it. And then we get into wireframing and developing essentially what you guys are here to see, which is the kind of visuals that appear via Adobe XD. So I have like a little kind of worksheet today that we're going to use to kind of fill this out. So we're going to start by addressing this very simple idea, which is what are we making today?
Yeah, and we still don't know because, again, it will be generated randomly by a website.
Yeah. So what are we making today? Let us decide that right now on the spot.
Yeah, let's see.
And
also,
it's Cecilia.
Cecilia.
Once again.
Here she is again. Cecilia, who is our guest on Adobe Live.
Right. And I use a different app that just kind of changes the background every day. Just kind of a coincidence that it happens to be Cecilia. Again, kind of embarrassing, but not complaining.
And also we ask you to, and Cecilia, who's in the chat, you also have a challenge, like Zach. So, but we already have the theme, the topic for you today. So today we want you to create in-car experience. Something that is next to the driver, on the dashboard. Again, using Adobe XD, a minimum of 3 artboards that you can design, create an experience here. Then you can switch to the prototype view and say, okay, if I click here, I want to jump to this screen. So you create an interactive prototype that you can finally share with us using the publish prototype feature that will create a URL, a link that you can share with us. But all the rules are in the contest tab next to the chat, okay? On behance.net/live, you have the chat, you have the info tab where you can follow Zach and get more information about him. And you have also the contest tab with all the rules. And at the end of the show, we will ask Zach to review your entries, and he will choose the one he prefers.
Yes.
The favorite one, and to get a chance to win a Creative Cloud subscription.
Yeah.
So good luck, everyone. And we're looking forward to see what you create.
And lastly, Jen Anderson makes a very good point. People should be paying attention to the road, and road safety is one of my many passions, and I think that shouldn't be overlooked. So in judging your submissions today, please keep in mind road safety is very important. So anything with too many colors or demanding imagery.
Or demanding too many interactions.
Right. We want to minimize, cognitive fatigue and distractions, or you're putting lives at risk for your UI visual glory. So, something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Huge responsibilities for designers today. So be careful.
Is my site under repair? I don't think it is. Maybe maybe it just crashed.
Which one? Your website?
Yeah, maybe the Russians might have taken it down.
Oh yeah.
Or if it's fine, then it's fine. So, anyways, app idea generator. We are going to be arriving at an app today, a social network for attending networking events. What do you think? Too meta.
Too meta. Yeah,
Too meta. A banking app for expats. It seems kind of dull.
Yeah.
You're an expat.
Yeah. So a banking app. I mean, you join a bank and you have an app. So
boom, yeah.
What would be the difference, for expats? I'm
Probably
not sure.
More money laundering, I would imagine. A lot of moving Bitcoin around back channels on Russian, Ukrainian servers.
Yeah, that's why they take down your website.
Yeah.
Because you keep talking about it.
Well, it's fine.
Social network.
This is actually a website called TV Tropes.
Okay.
Don't visit the website. This is not an endorsement. Banking is not dull, true, but it's not what we want to focus on today. Pinterest for action figure meetups. Let's screenshot this. We might come back to this.
Okay.
A calendar app for reading news. I don't know. A news app for planning parties. A barcode reader for finding trade shows. SoundCloud for sports car enthusiasts. Tinder for DIY collectors. That could be interesting. I feel like someone else is already doing kind of a dating.
Yeah, where you have someone working on it.
Okay, perfect. Pinterest for translators. No. Netflix for magazine reviews. Project plan for finding meetups. So weren't we also talking about maybe we want to take an idea that's pretty straightforward and maybe put a spin on it, maybe with introduce a new crazy technology into the equation? Like, sure, maybe it's just a project planner, but it's all in mixed reality, for instance. Who knows?
Could be that. Also, if you have ideas in the chat, you can also
if you guys have
share your ideas. Maybe
if you guys want to share ideas, I'm sure there's some innovators in the crowd. If Giant Frog has any ideas. Barcode reader for marketing weddings. No. Craigslist for music lovers. Isn't that, well...
I think it exists, but...
It probably. Calendar app for athletes. This exists, actually.
Okay.
A marketplace for waiters. Shop for waiters. That seems like a very specific version of, like, LinkedIn or Monster or Indeed or something. Etsy for frogs. Etsy for frogs. That could be good, actually. But again, that might just be like a marketplace that just sells like different bugs. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like a very hard to use keyboard design. Designed for webbed feet. Tinder for burger sellers. Let's screenshot this. This could be interesting. Let's say at 11:20 we'll have a decision, and we'll get on the road.
Okay.
But I really want to make sure we have.
Yeah, we need to go there.
Right. A travel app for recording parties. That could be. I mean, maybe from going from party to party. Kind of reviewing them, but that might be pushing. We'll screenshot this. Uber for we already did an Uber. Foursquare for TV show. And if anyone has any ideas, still just hanging out. A dating app for comic book meetups. That might be kind of distressing. We're not really. Should we refresh the site? Everything seems very vanilla. Very.
Maybe.
Instagram for TV show collectors. Pinterest for scheduling concerts. App for killing monkeys in my driveway. Interesting.
Orchestral app for freelance musical music.
Tinder for cat owners. That seems like isn't that what OkCupid is? I think it's just people with cats mostly.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's already would hate to step on their shoes there. Oh man, what are a dating app for young parents, a news app for teenagers, Twitter for finding movie premieres. Any ideas here? We're just not really finding.
Talking about virtual car shows, wedding crashing app.
A wedding crash. That sounds great. Pinterest for lawyers.
Something about
a sticker app for organizing picnics. That's great. Let's do that.
A sticker
app for organizing
picnics, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to acknowledge that there's niches out there that have not been met. I personally haven't been in a picnic in a long time, and I'm wondering if that's because the technology.
Because there's no app.
Yeah.
Maybe an app would boost the picnic activity. Yeah.
Yeah. Some Jim Kaufman has a lot of niche aspirations as well. Yeah. And I think there's enough UX designers in the world that if anyone wants to get in touch and help him out. Sticker app for organizing picnics. Boom. Sounds very straightforward. So let's just jump right in.
Okay, so that's the concept of the day. Sticker app for organizing picnics.
Yes.
Okay, so what are we making today? So I guess we need to define some stuff like
So
what type of stickers, what do you mean by picnics?
Yeah. So what are we making? And yeah, so let's try and interpret this.
Because sticker apps, you could think about the real life stickers,
Yeah.
But it could be also stickers in messaging apps.
Yeah. So in general, sticker apps, I think in general, would probably just be anything that allows you to post stickers onto images or text or other content, right?
Okay.
So
digital stickers.
Right. So digital stickers. And organizing picnics, that might mean like logistics, like calendaring, but also might mean very, very literally. How do you want to lay out? I mean, you're from France, right?
Yeah.
So
we picnic all the time.
Right. So you might be a great resource to have here. Maybe we'll use you as a sounding board for what aspiring picnickers might want.
Yeah.
In a.
So usually the challenge is how to dispatch the food, like who brings what.
Right. So what are we making today?
Who brings the wine? Who brings
Okay. So
cheese,
in general, it sounds
who
like
brings the bread.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, that's
so what are we making today? An app that allows. Is this for hosts and guests? Right. For picnic goers. Let's get this out of the way. Hosts and attendees.
And thanks for being so active in the chat. Stay tuned because we will give away the XD socks.
So I think probably stickers only. Stickers only, tuned. Right? Because if we introduce a keyboard, we're kind of lessening the kind of value of it, or the niche value of it. We really want to make this sticker centric. People have stickers about what they're going to bring. That's a great point. Cecilia goes on a lot of picnics as well.
It's a hassle organizing what people are bringing. Yeah, I agree. That's the main pain point.
Okay, so
and also where to meet and when, because a picnic, like let's say you want to meet in a park, but it could be a huge park, or in Paris you want to have a picnic along the river. Okay, but where do we meet? Yeah, so you have to.
So there's kind of a basic calendaring element. So location,
date
and time,
picnic blanket. So it's not only the food. It's a good point.
Okay. It's also items. Yeah. Okay.
Items and blankets.
Picnic, accoutrements. Is that spelled correctly? That's a French word, I believe.
Accoutrement. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would get a red underline if it wasn't. So.
We can ask Achille. I don't know if Achille is
watching. If Achille is listening, yeah.
He can double check.
Okay. So far, so good. Location, date, time, attendees, picnic, accoutrements. Perfect. But, like we were saying, this is all used exclusively with stickers to achieve these things. Minimal text, we should say. Because the value proposition is it's stickers, right? This is not just a Google invite.
It has to be visual because I feel that when you start exchanging messages with your friend,
it becomes
to remember. Okay, who is bringing that? Like you have to scroll and you have this huge thread of text,
right?
And nothing is popping out. So if we can maybe thanks to stickers say, Gus is bringing the wine. Paul is bringing the cheese.
Sure, and also a lot of viewers today, I'm imagining. Might not be so good reading text. Giant Frog Eats Everything, for instance, doesn't seem to be particularly lucid. Might not be so good at following basic instructions.
For instance.
Right. Jim Kaufman as well. So it might be easier for them to just follow basic visual instructions.
Yeah.
And more fun, more enjoyable as well. Justin Mrazek as well. Might have a very talented woodworker, a volunteer at where I work, but not necessarily someone who's good at following verbal or written instructions, but might excel when faced with very simple visual things. It's not
like with these books.
Here's a list: bring muffins, bring soda, bring a wooden table that you made.
And maybe I can just check.
Right. Maybe if it's just you have a spreadsheet of stickers, almost like an emoji keyboard, you just drag up. These are the things I'm bringing.
Yeah.
You know. And instead of even numbers, like how many sandwiches do I bring? You just drag how many sandwiches? You don't even have to say 7 sandwiches.
Maybe with a slider.
Literally.
Or you just
Well, good. I feel already.
Okay.
This is all coming into place.
Yeah. It's
okay.
Good.
Perfect.
This is good.
Who are we making this for? People who prefer visual instructions, right?
Mm-hmm. Which I guess is the big majority of people.
Right. So millennials, and I'm a millennial.
I'm not.
So take it from me.
Okay.
Millennials are very poor reading ability, but very good at recognizing images. Who isn't this for? And I think sometimes it's important to know who it isn't for, because if we think it's for everyone, and sometimes everyone says that, when you're making an app, you want it to be as expansive and inclusive as possible.
Oh.
Like Facebook, you say everyone in the world. But, that complicates the value proposition, just because you have to have so many caveats and affordances so that everyone can be included. Sometimes you have a niche audience, and that's who it's for. Who is this not for? Who isn't going to be using this? Well, I'll tell you one thing.
There are people
panhandlers, giant frogs. Anyone else that wouldn't be?
I would say like also people who don't like to eat outside. Like they prefer to
agoraphobes.
Agora.
Yeah. Oh, nice. See, that's why I use Keynote, because it corrects me. Blind people.
No, why not? They could
fine.
eat outside.
Yeah, that's fine. Blind people could use it. We could have an audio version.
Yeah.
So when you drag
With
the sticker in, it announces Justin Mrazek has entered 2 sandwiches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is more an accessibility issue.
Right.
This can be solved.
So we can solve that.
Yeah.
Panhandlers, giant frogs, agoraphobes, hermits. This is a social app. If you're going to the picnic by yourself in the woods,
it's not a picnic.
You don't need an app for that. You can it's just a lonely meal.
So it's not for hermits.
No. So hermits, panhandlers, agoraphobes, people with allergies.
It's not for Australian people.
Australians?
Yeah, if you have a picnic in Australia, you get killed by
Okay, that's
anything.
Right.
Yeah, like it's too dangerous.
Right. And in general, we like to design for everyone, but sometimes it's important to know there's areas of the world we might endanger people by including them. So Australians, for instance.
Yeah, it's too dangerous.
And Australians are also too dangerous. So it's. They're under threat from the ecosystem, but Australians, in and of themselves, are kind of
our threat.
Right, can't threaten others. Correct. Yeah. Okay, great. So I feel like compared to yesterday.
Anyone watching from Australia, by the way? It must be very late, so we should be lucky. But let us know if you're watching from Australia, what you think about it. Let us know if you have picnics.
Right, and I'm having
surprised.
some second thoughts because Australians are very visual, very non-verbal, very visual people as well. Bright colors.
Yeah, but it could be for another use case. It's just for
there can be, maybe that's version 2.
Eating outdoor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Maybe version 2. Okay. So I actually am feeling very confident about this so far. I'm really starting to understand. This is just like millennials that love stickers and want to organize picnics. And who knows, maybe we could expand it later from picnics to other events. But for now, I think picnics is a good use case because it's very...
Okay.
It's straightforward, So what does the user journey entail? You know what? Let's do. We'll do 2 really fast journeys, one from the host perspective and one from the guest perspective, and that way we understand. Okay, as a host, what do I need to do? I need to create the event.
Yeah.
So I need to input time, location, members.
Invite the members.
Right, and maybe I should stipulate what I need, or maybe I let the members decide.
Yeah, it could be a theme.
Right. Maybe a theme. Right.
Or a description, like what you expect.
But stickers to describe it.
And you see
I don't want to see any text. That's going to be
the challenge. Okay.
That's the challenge.
I like it.
Right. I don't think it's too narrow.
Oh, we have Céline Dion in the chat.
Where do you get
What
this
about
template?
it?
I made this template at 9:15 a.m. this morning after realizing that I would be too distracted by some of the members of the chat to focus on design and structure on the spot. But I'll share this later and even add to it just to make it that easy to create an app of your own with App Idea Generator.
Yeah. So Jen, so maybe you can share it with us, and
Yeah.
we can update the
I'm
YouTube
gonna-
description.
I'm going to add some more visuals like this, give it
yeah,
an extra
please.
pop, and then we'll go. Okay, so user journey. What does it entail? So step one. Let's say this is the host. Actually, no. So this is... So we're just going to focus on the key use case here, and we're not going to focus too much on just discovery and all of the other things. And if you want to, are you going to look at that for a sec, the car stuff?
It's just to encourage them to share.
Of
Because
course.
so there is this contest, and today it's about in-car experience. So make sure to check the contest tab. And we already received some entries, but we will review all of them at the end of the show. And someone is already saying, "Drive safe, Zack London." The car is telling you this, yeah?
I'm feeling very targeted. I'm an excellent driver.
Yeah, but still, it's
but
nice. It's a nice
Okay,
one.
it's
Like, you
nice,
can be an
but
excellent
I'm
driver,
feeling a
but
little
still,
bit called out here. Okay.
Okay, and then, you can call. Okay, we will review this at the end, but keep sharing. I see very good ideas here. It looks great, made with Adobe XD. If you don't have Adobe XD, you can download the free trial on xd.adobe.com. If you are Creative Cloud members, it should be listed in your apps. So, yeah.
I did. I drove Justin to the BART. He can
Oh,
attest.
very safe. Excellent driver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, let's
So
do
user
more.
journey, we'll do 2 user journeys, one for the host, set downtime, set attendees, and the theme, we said.
Set theme and any miscellaneous details like no frogs, for instance. Step 2. Oh, you know what? Step 2 is probably set attendees. It's probably a different step.
Oh, yeah, good
So
point.
send invite.
Because I guess it will list, it will access the contacts.
Find contacts,
Yeah.
right. Send to contacts. Step 3. View event, right? We want to see, so see attendees, comment, edit, and I'm sorry, Jen. Nothing I can do.
About what?
About my shirt is very distracting.
Oh, yeah, so maybe we can go full screen because we created a doll for you. It's a 3D doll.
Yeah, let's do that.
So this is something. So this is Zack.
And they made this yesterday.
Yeah, we made it
On the
yesterday
spot.
and
3D printed the scan of
3D
me.
printed, and also
My voice recordings
with your
as
voice.
well, right?
Yeah.
Make it more interactive. Trust me, you'll thank me when we're in Cannes.
Yeah. Very, very
Yeah,
Zack.
it sounds like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll give you one for the office.
Thank you. That's a big deal.
So actually, you don't have to go to the office anymore.
Right.
Lamination.
Stand in.
Just put it on the table and.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't know what the volunteers will do without me, but we'll see. Okay, so comment, edit, and then finally, what else do they need to do? They could comment, edit, and finally, maybe step 4 is thank people.
Mm-hmm.
Send them.
Ah, you mean once the event is.
Yeah. What? Do you
thank
need
you
to go
note.
back?
Yeah, thank you. Note.
Maybe that might be useful. So maybe we'll call it follow up because typically, like, for instance, after we got acupuncture yesterday,
Yeah.
it was on the calendar. I knew all about it, but you didn't have to. You didn't say thank you afterwards. I mean, it was kind of we do that in
No.
person. We don't need an app to do that.
No.
But
A follow up.
Follow up.
I like it. Yeah.
right, thanks. Return items.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, maybe.
Share photos, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, share photos, and maybe give a way to provide some feedback, like what we could improve
Oh
from next
yeah,
picnic.
but visual feedback only.
Yeah.
Cool. That's great. This seems very solid.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
So let's copy and paste, or well, we'll duplicate rather. And this is the picnic attendees journey. So they're going to have a slightly different way of dealing with this. So the attendee starts by receive invite.
Yeah.
So they're going to see all of these things. Right? But that's fine.
And they need to say if they want to attend on.
Right. So respond to host.
Kevin is asking, should we talk about the budget for the
what's
picnic?
the budget for this picnic?
Do we share? I feel that the thing with picnic is more that you say, okay, we'll take care of this, you take care of it. Like, we don't really talk about money, you know. It's not like going to a restaurant and fixing a budget.
Right. But you know, it's probably within each friend group. It's probably negotiated. For instance,
don't spend more than
right. Like if
$20
I was inviting Justin, for instance, he's in the chat now. I probably would say don't stress too much. Bring what you can. Some wood clippings, maybe
some bread,
a piece of fruit, some bread,
water.
But don't some water. Fill up a bucket in the sink and bring that if you can. Maybe a blanket. But don't stress too much. But you know, if I'm inviting someone like a hotshot designer like Cecilia, who's made of money, I might say,
bring some caviar.
Some caviar.
Yeah. Lobsters.
Right. Maybe just a silk blanket from Versailles.
Great.
To just dine on. Always nice.
Tapestry. Yeah.
Right. So respond to host. Say what you're bringing. And did we actually say that? Did the host? I feel like typically when you have like a potluck event, you don't tell people what to bring, but you might say what's needed, right?
Yeah.
Or you kind of let people decide on their own.
Yeah, usually they let and like someone say, okay, I'm taking care of the drink, and then the other one would say, okay, I take care of the
Right.
drink.
It's kind of like, it's more impromptu. You don't need to make a list. That's it.
No.
And millennials don't like being told.
Exactly. I agree.
Millennials don't like being told what to bring. Millennials are very fussy, anti-authority. So you don't want to tell them what to do. Anarchist, yeah. And like we said, who is this event? Who's this not for? You know,
hermits,
panhandlers, agoraphobes, Australians. But it is for millennials who are anarchistic by nature. So, yeah, Will Holt likes boundaries, and he's a millennial, but he's kind of an very old soul. But we will keep him in mind when designing this. Okay. So, respond to say what you're bringing. See what others are bringing.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback. It was from Joseph. Yeah.
What did they say?
See what other guests are bringing.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Oh, yeah.
Very
good job, Joseph. Yeah. On point.
We have a lot in common. All right.
Okay, so you get a better feel.
Okay, so see all attendees. So they can also view the event. And then, seems like they have the same steps. So it seems like
the event because you want to know also who's coming.
Right. So actually, there's a kind of a convergence. There's two different views, but then there's a global view of the event and what each person's bringing.
I agree.
And it converges. So there's the creator and the attendee, but it ultimately merges together. And then magic happens. So we're almost ready to just open it up and start just going for it. And then finally, design principles. Any principles.
So how does it help you to have design principles?
So I think, and yesterday is a good example. I think having millennials aren't really known for having principles or integrity, but that's more of a generational thing. But in general, it's important to have design principles when creating something because, you have a certain audience and you have certain things that you need to deliver to them. Certain latent things that you need to keep in mind, but then also in general there's like a tonality and a brand to keep in mind and kind of not just a visual aesthetic but kind of just like a tone of voice. And then also in general certain high level principles like this needs to be visual, right? That might be a good principle. This needs to be visual. This needs to be extremely simple and straightforward because it's visual. You can't be, we don't want to overly complicate it because we're trying to achieve something. So, extremely visual. Cecilia says it needs gradients.
It's right. Cecilia.
It needs to be extremely simple. Other principles. Extremely social. Again, not for hermits, but for millennials. And that might be good. Why don't we just say those? And typically these are a bit more thought out, and we would meet with the kind of stakeholders involved and kind of figure out exactly what their kind of mentality is going into this, and trying to best take what they want and kind of figure out how do we hone in their kind of high-level ideology into an app. So what features will there need to be? We already know the features. There's this basically like the event creation and invite. We have
creation.
We pretty much have these. So
all the event settings, I would say. And follow keeping track of the events. So who is attending, who's bringing what. Right. And the follow-up,
Cool. So we'll keep this tab open. No, this is not for showing recipes. That's just diverging from the stated use case. So I'm going to open up Adobe XD, which is the tool we're showcasing today.
Yeah.
And yesterday I started from scratch, but today I think we are starting with the wireframe kit that comes with Adobe XD. That's super helpful, especially for what we're doing today, because we're kind of focusing on very high-level design.
Okay.
And we're not going to get too into the visuals, but this is super helpful to have, because rather than having to spend a bunch of time kind of creating different boxes and shapes on a screen to try and communicate high-level ideas, we can just copy and paste stuff. My favorite picnic spot is right where we got acupuncture yesterday, on Styx and Mission in Soma.
Yeah. Very nice spot.
Really, really beautiful scenery.
Because you can make a lot of friends.
And a lot of friendly people, and just a lot of free food on the ground in general. So just kind of everything millennial.
Perfect spot.
Anything
Free music.
Free live music. A lot, and a lot of people kind of singing to themselves. So just a very bohemian crowd, I would say. So today I think we are going to start by thinking about what are the key screens that we want to have in here. So, whoa, how did we jump there? Okay, key screens.
I also wanted you to ask, in your research, what you did. So, do you include sometimes the business goals?
Yes, of course. And I think when we talk about business goals, that's largely something that we, here, I'll go back here. That's largely something that emerges in the early stakeholder workshops, and when we kind of figure out what is it we're making. And then also that typically translates into not only the strategy that kind of follows this is very focused on the UX workflow, but also that those business goals are translated throughout the app, not only in terms of features that help deliver on those goals, like monetization or...
It has a huge impact.
Yeah.
If it's a premium or like a...
Right, and those business goals...
freemium model.
Right, and also kind of translate into the principles. It's a really good point. But that those goals, because again, those are going to be very limiting. In this case, why don't we, in terms of monetization, who knows? If this is a free app and it's just about accumulating users, or maybe you might...
I think I would... Let's say it's a free app, like you want to build a user base.
Yeah.
And after you want to think about maybe partnership with local stores to, find food, prepare the picnic. So it could be like the V2.
Right. Sticker sets that you might
sticker sets that you want. Some are free, some are paid. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll keep that in mind. So I'm just going to copy and paste this journey into here, and maybe we'll try and create a screen for each of these.
Okay, awesome.
Does that make sense? I mean, typically we might want to do more of a sitemap and try and figure out how this all kind of flows together. But in the interest of time, we're just going to wing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it will come also very naturally, like with this. Just this work,
Okay,
I can see, even for the host and the attendees, I see something like merging.
Right, because basically create and send invite versus see and accept invite it's just kind of like a fork. So we might even have 6 screens in total.
Yeah.
Create and send invite, receive and see invite, and then view and follow up are merged from different perspectives.
I agree.
Okay, so let's see. Can we copy and paste that into here?
Yep.
Yes. Look at that. Seamless. So we're going to call this one Create Event.
Hi, Donna. Thanks for joining. So we are working with Zack, and we randomly picked a topic generated by a website. And it's a sticker app to organize picnics or for picnic lovers. And we just did the user research, set the goals, the features, and now we will try to design the first experience. And Zack today will be using the wireframes UI kit is something that we released in October. It has been actually created by an agency in San Francisco, actually.
Oh yeah, what are they called?
I think UI8. Let me double check.
Okay, I get spam emails from them.
Really?
But maybe there's something to it.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a UI resource, but
yeah, you're right.
But
So
they do
yeah,
good-
so
they
this
do-
is UI8.
they do good
I don't know
stuff.
if this works. No. Okay, I can
Okay.
show you. But they are on Behance, UI8 design, based in San Francisco, and they did the wires, free wireframe kit for Adobe XD. So yeah, I invite you to download this kit. Okay, we're back.
So before I start putting stuff on a screen, we want to think about, okay, so how are they getting here in the first place? There's probably some kind of tokenization or something happening where they need an account, or maybe this integrates into some kind of messenger where it is an app that exists inside some kind of messaging client, like iMessage or
WhatsApp
Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp.
But it could be in the background, like you don't have to really take care about it.
Right. So but for now we're just gonna, try and think of this as something that's more self-contained.
Yeah.
Just because we only have an hour. So we're just gonna try and explore what are some kind of novel ways that we could do these very straightforward tasks, but in a really visual way.
Okay.
And you're gonna have to help me finding some good stock imagery because this is a sticker app, so we need.
Oh yeah.
We need some good stuff. So,
Awesome.
oh, is there a mouse actually? That might be helpful for this. Look at that. Create event. So let's assume that there is maybe one extra screen that has to do where the host says something about. So there's some kind of home screen. We'll go back to that. That's just filler for now, but
maybe you can zoom in a bit. So if you select an artboard,
yeah.
also there are some tips I can show. Or you select anything actually,
Yeah.
just a block of text.
Yeah.
So if you use command 1, 2, or 3, you will have different zoom levels.
Whoa, too
One,
much. There we
two.
go. Perfect. Yeah, Kevin, it's an example. And you know what? Maybe people aren't picnicking because they don't have an app to help them do it.
And it can be paired with a full campaign, a marketing campaign
Right.
about the benefits of picnics.
That's true.
Targeting a city.
That's true. That
For
might.
summer.
Yeah, the city of San
Laguna.
Francisco might want to promote its
Yeah.
many beautiful lawns, and its many beautiful
Clean public
hygienic,
spaces.
beautiful public spaces with a very aggressive marketing campaign, encouraging millennials to
To the Golden Gate Park.
stop spending so much
Okay.
money on brunch and going and having picnics in the park instead.
Seriously?
Yeah, park services could use this. Great partnership right there.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Parks and Recreation.
Right. Or this could be a way for the city to get in touch with its millennial roots and encourage civic participation.
Oh, to clean the parks.
Yeah, clean the park. Go have a
Recycle. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Encourage people to, and then
So,
every can you collect, you can unlock a new sticker. Can you give us the link for the UI8 design? It
yes,
is.
so that
within-
they will find it. But if you type UI8 Behance, you will find it.
So for this first screen, we want to, and maybe it doesn't need to be on one screen, but for this first section, we're going to want to address date, time, location, and theme.
Okay.
Then we'll do attendees. So first, let us think about how would we create date, time in a purely visual way. Maybe they just
The calendar.
See a
you mean?
calendar.
And you just-
Sure, that's fine. I mean,
Oh.
I think millennials might be a little bit intimidated by all the numbers. I know calendars in general inspire a lot of anxiety in millennials.
Do we have one?
Yeah, and right now I'm just looking through the wireframes to see if there's any pre-made calendars that might just help speed this along. We have some photos and video that will be useful later. No calendars though. Maybe there's a stand-in shape or something we can use just to acknowledge that we would need a calendar. Actually, I have an idea.
I can use the repeat grid also.
We were going to use a repeat grid. So we're going to... So I am just going to set this up. Let's put a header in there, just to give some context to what's going on. So I'm copying, pasting a header from the wireframe kit, just dropping it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Title. We're not going to worry about other navigation now, but just to give some context. New picnic. And I'm opening up the symbols, and very conveniently, there's already some symbols in here. So no, but we don't want to type the date because that goes against the principles. We want everything to be visual. These are millennials that don't like words. It's just too abstract for them. Okay, I'm just going to ignore that.
Oh, by the way, we need a name for the app.
All right.
They should find a name. Yeah.
Let's hear it. There's a lot of...
A lot of creative people in the chat.
So if someone wants to come up with a good name for that.
Yeah, we need a name for the app.
What's a good way of asking when the picnic is? Remember, this is a fun millennial tone, minimal words. Actually, let's set a theme. Millennials love. Do you know this color, millennial pink? It's kind of a rose quartz.
Okay.
Millennials just love.
They love the.
Yeah, they love millennial pink. It's kind of a. You see it everywhere.
That's this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That seems reasonable.
Okay, so we just dropped
Actually, well,
some
it's
names,
it's a wireframe, but we just want to...
Sticknik.
Grass-fed?
Sticknik. Grass-fed.
Grass-fed. That almost feels like an app name for, like, livestock.
Yeah.
Like, which some people like in millennials, too.
Oh, Donai says that millennials, they like the colors from the 80s.
They like, anything kind of glaring and hideous, they like. So, let's...
Big fan. Zacknik. Sure.
When's the big picnic?
Graze. Peak as lit. Just dropping the name. Litnik. Litnik.
I don't...
Hungry baskets.
Picnics with an X.
Nick. A peak. Oh, okay.
When's the big picnic? And it's asking us that.
Together, which is more abstract.
Together. Okay. Litnik. Don't. Well, it's, millennials like their puns, and they like saying lit a lot. So right now we want some kind of calendar grid. So I'm using the square tool, and actually it doesn't really show up there, but okay. And we're probably just going to want to repeat this.
Yeah.
7 times or something, And this is a stand-in just to suggest. This is let's just do some kind of some kind of color like that. Okay, so we hit repeat grid, and this is the magic of Adobe XD and why this is such a time saver, because this would be such a pain in the ass in Sketch. So 6, 7, boom, and now it's saying, oh well, we want to condense this all into a space. Look at that. Incredible, you guys.
Yeah, I can use that one.
One of the biggest innovations since we sent a man to the moon. So, 7. There, that's a calendar. A little bit more, flowing into the next month, but when's the big picnic?
Yeah.
And we can assume that,
they
and, maybe it's fine. There's some now they can swipe for left or right to discover if it's if they want to plan it for later. And then probably some kind of next button once they've decided, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also the great thing here is that, we're not going to focus too much on the design right now. We're just going to focus on the core elements there. Well, whatever. Actually, do we even want this to say next, or do we just want it to be some kind of shape? Because millennials can't really, they don't want to focus on reading things. They just want to go, okay.
The philosophy. No text.
Minimal text. Text. I bet,
Okay, they're like, hang out, just big.
Oh, you know what? I have a good idea. Let's do they have emojis on the Adobe stock? Because it could just be a calendar emoji and a question mark.
Oh, so actually let me try something.
Let's get some of those.
Because we discovered something.
Words, just emojis only.
Whoop.
And yes, to Justin's point, maybe they could select multiple days. Maybe this is not so much a picnic as kind of a Burning Man experience, just a 7-day long festival in the desert.
Oh yeah, but usually it's a one. Yeah.
Well, but again, millennials.
Why not? Yeah.
Are use case.
Weekend.
So
could be used for a weekend.
So you think on Adobe stock I could find some
icons,
calendar emojis? Yeah, just some basic Adobe stock.adobe, and I think I've got a lifetime supply, or at least a daytime supply account of emoji.
Yeah.
Count.
And you're not signed in, but it will work. Oh, here we go.
This is kind of an insane. This is kind of an insane emoji, but we'll just go for that.
Yeah. It's it's setting the tone.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
It sets the tone.
What is going on here? All right. Apologies for the text formatting, but we got a lot to do today, so we don't have time to make it perfect. But it's setting the tone. It's understood. Okay. We're not even wasting our time with words because millennials don't have time to read, and many don't even know how. So let's just make this font even bigger. Question mark?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we crop? Actually, fine. We're not even going to waste our time asking.
I can show you quickly. But
I'm going to just bring this to front, and then boom.
Even easier.
Problem solved. Love
there
it.
There we go.
Next. You just pick it and then go next. Wait. Perfect. Now time. So we probably want almost the same thing, but just instead, they just have to pick the time. So let's find some kind of
clock. Yeah.
Is this just a minion? Why are there minions?
Whoa, that's weird.
Yeah, Adobe should check that out. I don't think it's good to have minions on any kind of stock website. Typically frowned upon. Okay. Again, these are stand-ins. Typically, we frown upon using minions in our apps. It's kind of an older generation thing. My mom loves minions. Doesn't know what they are, but uses them to communicate.
That's so cute.
Big, yeah. She likes to use minions to kind of voice like bigger political messages, like an angry-looking minion, next to some statement about healthcare. So, anyways, so it's asking the time. And how might we want to show time? Maybe just a clock?
A clock, and they swipe the...
Yes, sounds good, sounds good. Okay, circle.
Oh, we can use the pie. We just add some arrows.
Ooh. Look at that. And then arrows. Maybe they're, yeah. Okay. They just click when. And we can worry about the design of that later, but they probably just click on some kind of... Okay, so I'm liking it so far. This is kind of a good way of picking it. You don't have to think a lot. You could be very tired when you're using this, maybe somewhat intoxicated, but it's very simple. You just click on shapes and images. Very conducive to the millennial lifestyle. So they pick the time. What else do they have to do? Location. Ooh. That might be just a map, though. That could be. I think there's a map in the wireframe kit, too. So that could be.
There is a location section.
Boom,
actually.
look at that. These guys thought of everything. Incredible.
Oh, here we go.
Look at that. So fast.
So it doesn't really show up on the... When you click on the elements, just to make sure we can change the opacity or...
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
there it is. It's
Oh yeah, let's change the field. Just make it. Okay, where are we? Oh, here.
There we go.
Yeah, if you can just move to, yeah. Okay, so they can see it.
There we go. Yeah. How's that?
Okay, I guess they can see it now. It's better.
And let's do just a slight overlay so that they can see what's going on. And what's a good icon for location? Okay. Oh, map icon. Probably in
A minion.
What do you say?
Another minion.
Yeah.
Yeah, map emoji. Oh, it's not easy.
What is?
Ooh. Here we go.
Oops. Wait. That masked it, right?
Yeah, just drag it outside. Yeah.
Perfect. Loving it. Oh, I see. We're going to encounter some issues here, but we'll just have to make this full.
And keep being active in the chat because we will give away the XD socks to someone who is active in the chat, who just launched the script. Okay, and pick someone in about 3 minutes. So if you're just watching, make sure to sign in and just say hi in the chat, just something, so you can be eligible for the script. And yeah, get the socks for the winter.
Looking for minions here. Surprisingly, when you look up minion, you can't really find minion. But when you're not looking for minions, the only thing that shows up on here is our minions. Wait, so that's like a good visual for like what a millennial might be represented as, just like a little troll jester. Typically, that's what I like to think of when I think millennial. And this might just pull up your contacts, right?
Yeah, what was it? Was it the theme or?
So, it was. Oh, I see. It was theme and then that. Okay, so how might we convey theme? How would that be represented?
Stickers.
Stickers.
So what would be a theme, actually?
Wow, that's some intense.
Well,
Adobe, you got to get on that.
what is this? Oh, theme. It's like a theme part.
Theme,
Okay.
like what is the theme? You know, like is this, if I logged in, would I have any other luck, or this is just the world?
Yeah, if you have some ideas of a theme for a picnic.
So what are some picnic themes, guys? Let's hear some.
Or do we need a theme?
You know what? MVP will skip the theme.
Yeah,
Millennials ought to
maybe
know.
not.
The theme is always just lit.
It's too demanding.
Right, too demanding. They can't ask them to think that far ahead.
No.
Let's see if there's so for actually we're kind of meeting the core criteria of creating an event here.
Oh, this is like anniversary, birthday.
And unlike
I see.
unlike other, let's see if there's a contacts here. So unlike any kind of typical calendaring app, which is very very systematized, and it just forms. And this isn't so much color; these are just blue wireframes. So this is a very, very basic wireframe kit that we're using, and we're just trying to see. Oh, contacts! Look at that, incredible.
So Chavez is asking, isn't using so much color? Is it distracting at the wireframe stage? Yeah. I guess in this case, as the one of the core value of is to be visual.
Yeah, and the only color that we're using is
Yeah.
iconography, and that's because I want to be able to communicate the idea that we're just using emojis.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't be using images of minions quite so much, in the wireframe stage, but in the interest
Yeah.
of time, we're just kind of using these stand-in images.
Because again, we only have 2 hours.
And one
And
cool
we have
thing.
a winner for the socks.
Oh,
Yeah, and this is Mr. Philippe Leblanc. Do you know Philippe? No.
No.
Doesn't work for Ammunition?
no, he doesn't.
Ah,
But
too
it
bad.
could just be someone under an alias. It might be one of
Oh,
my
yeah.
volunteers.
Okay, congratulations, Philippe. Make sure to check your private messages on Behance because we will contact you and you will receive these socks for the winter very soon. And stay tuned because we will review the entries. You still have like 25 minutes to submit your entries for the contest. The theme of the day is in-car experience, on the dashboard of the car. You can check all the rules using the contest tab. It's in the contest tab, okay, on behance.net/live.
No, Cecilia, it makes your job obsolete. Because someone still has to drag the wireframe contents around.
Oh.
So far what we have is a very, very visualized method of creating an event. So,
Oh, you have a contact list.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
found it. And even, who knows, we could have some kind of functionality whereby there's not even names, but if you don't have, photos for your contacts, it might be helpful to have this. So sorry, millennials, but there's going to be a little bit of text. So then we actually need the picnic page. And the picnic page is, for now we're calling it this, but it probably will have some kind of iconography. We'll address Robinson's comment in a second.
Yeah.
But,
I'm not
Oh,
aware
what?
of this FUD actually.
Hmm?
So Robinson, he says there's a bunch of FUD about UX right now, how it's dead and going away.
I've never heard that
Yeah,
before.
me
I think it's
neither.
in huge demand, and I think maybe people who conflate graphic design with UX or certain elements of UX, it's true that as certain visual elements become more templatized, as we have more and more kits that have a lot of ready-made features, and as apps become more commoditized, we begin to see that more and more apps look really similar and they have a lot of the same feel, but that might be a good thing because we have
You create
agreed upon,
habits.
right? Like if you remember the internet in the 90s, it was basically like taking ayahuasca and going on Craigslist or something. It was just chaos.
Yeah, and and I remember like in agencies just changing the colors of links
Yeah.
from blue to something else
Yeah.
would completely kill the experience.
Yeah, and
So
it was just-
you
it
have
was
to
a-
create habits.
Yeah, it was utter madness. If anything, I think certain elements of UX in terms of designing UI features, like organizing the way that certain conventions appear, is a good thing. I mean, the fact that we're able to readily say, this is the best way to present contacts. There's a million ways, and you can try and innovate on that, but you don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel to create certain experiences. So yeah, some of it's becoming obsolete, but that only makes it easier to focus on improving what actually matters, which is millennial experiences of picnics.
And we're really at the early stage, like especially in the enterprise space of UX design. Like there are like I see like so many internal apps, because when you think about UX design, you usually think about iOS apps, mobile apps,
Yeah.
but it could be any type of experiences. And,
I mean, to that point, a ton of what we do at Ammunition, where I work, it's a full service agency, and so we do a lot of hardware and majority hardware products.
Oh, okay.
But there's still a UX element involved, and that is kind of kept in mind throughout the process, not only in terms of the industrial design, how it looks and feels and like it physically exists, has to fulfill all the heuristic and other needs of users, but it also, in terms of like indicators and buttons and even like how it exists in the world and what it needs to do and meet, there's all this research and kind of usability studies and like ideas that inform what the product is in the first place that are UX related. So I think a lot of the superficial notions of UX being just arranging buttons on a page, it just kind of reflects a kind of widespread misunderstanding about what UX is. And I think kind of websites like Dribbble might be really good for people to get inspiration from, but it also gives the really wrong impression of what UX is. And it makes it seem like it's this kind of game of changing gradients and making beautiful drop shadow emojis. but that's not
I see
necessarily
what you mean.
right. And wireframe kits are certainly a threat to that.
It's hard to show the process. I mean, here, like during this live show, we have the time, so we can explain all the steps, and even if although it's super condensed, because we only have 2 hours. But it's true that it's not easy to share. There are some good projects on Behance where some designers really share all the steps. All the studies, the first sketches, the research, the test they did, the A/B testing, what failed. But it takes a lot of time to document a good UX workflow.
So I'm thinking. Now we have the picnic page.
Yeah.
Sorry, these pages are all long. So on the picnic page, we probably want to have a summary of all of these pages. So we want to have the time represented. We want to have the location. We want to have the and the attendees.
Because I guess that before sending the invitation, you want a confirmation.
Right. So we want to have
Always
this.
double-check
We want to
the
have
date.
this kind of summary page. I don't know how this got changed. We want to have a summary page that just says, "Is this what you meant?"
Peak meat.
A pig meat.
Still in the pants, but it's a good one, Stella. Peak meat.
So, okay, I have an idea. The best way to show this might be to just have a little card for each thing. And we want to use the same design language, so it's not too complicated. Okay. We will just... thinking here, what's the best way to show this? Okay. So, again, if these are all visuals, maybe we just want like a little card that illustrates each thing. So, let's just pretend that this is now updated. Boy. So we can have some kind of icon for each. So we're assuming that the output of each one of these is something visual, right? We might want a grid for that. And that in here we have the time. Wait, what a pain. Okay. So we have the date, time, location, and then the contact list. So and we'll just go ahead and fill that in later with what we want that to look like. So that might just be a calendar page that says it, right? And I get that grid might have been easier here. Boy. And that would be something visual. Okay. So date, time, location, and then the contacts attending. So okay. Boom. So there's probably other much more sophisticated ways of doing this purely visually, but I think the idea of this page is that it has kind of a summary of these things. So, in fact, you know what? Just for consistency, we will drop this all in here and just pretend, okay, that this is going to use the same icon language throughout the app so that people always understand that this little smiling Japanese calendar represents date, and then this little hideous clock represents time, and this little hideous monster thing represents contacts. But in this case, we're going to have a list of contacts, and this globe represents that. So essentially, we're as visual as possible. And then we hit Create Picnic. So this is a kind of create thing, but we haven't even gotten into like the whole world of stickers yet. I mean, we're building the tone,
but yeah,
we're building the tone for
building
the
the
sticker
tone.
thing, but we haven't actually arrived there. So then let's see what an actual picnic page might look like. So now that there's all the details, maybe the details thing can be summarized in something small and off to the side, so that and you know, whenever I delete this, it deletes them all on all the pages.
Oh yeah, it's a symbol.
Is that just because it's a
you
symbol
can break
thing?
the symbol. Yeah, you can right click and ungroup or break the symbol, ungroup symbol.
Oh, okay, got it.
Instantly.
Cool, nice.
Yeah. So when you select something and there is a green stroke,
Yeah,
it means that you are manipulating the symbol.
gotcha. Okay. So there's all these details about the picnic, but we could probably summarize that with
Wow, picnic icon. That would be awesome. Oh yeah. Okay.
oh, basket. That's
Ah, the
maybe that's a
basket.
good visual metaphor. Oh, and a
Yeah,
nice,
and a nice
a
name.
beautiful watermark over it as well. Really classy. So you know what? We can even get rid of all of the kind of annoying background info there, and so we can assume that clicking this takes you to the summary of what it is, of all the details, and leave this page for the stickers.
And I was checking the entries. You have like about 13 minutes left to submit your entries. Theme of the day is the in-car experience. So yeah, make sure to submit your entries during the show, because Zack will pick his favorite project, and you can get a chance to win a 1-year Creative Cloud subscription. So basket, yeah, basket could be the name of the app actually. I'm a little bit scared with all the names with pick, you know, like pick me, I see, or
It's very literal.
and also there is you will compete with all the apps about pictures, and they all start with a pick also.
Yeah. So
And also, I guess I don't know what you think, Zach, but you need to think about like the core values of the app and the evolution of the app.
yeah,
Because as we said, so maybe the first use case is a picnic, but it can become more. It can be
Right.
about like gathering people at the same place in one location and just exchanging with stickers.
yeah. So and again, you know, the visuals here are to stand in. Like this is the most crude and just like ridiculously ugly wireframe that a human being can make. But the point is not so much what it looks like, but what's going to be in that.
Oh, okay.
How we're going to fill it in, and trying to reinforce the idea that this is minimal text. In fact, the iconography essentially explains everything. So I'm wondering, actually, maybe this can all be summarized when you look at the picnic page by these things,
Oh yeah.
right? And maybe we can even shrink this, so it just, you know, that clock will be populated with the time.
Yeah, with the
The
time
map will be populated with the location, and
and the date. Yeah.
yeah, and there. And actually, we could probably even fit it all. I don't know. Doesn't
In
really.
one bar at the top.
Yeah, we could probably. Do you think we could do that?
So it would be the date, location.
And then that way we can have all the details just on one line. Or is it too aggressive? No, it's doable. And we can even do it in that kind of classic style where you have that
Slide.
cutoff.
Yeah.
So it's implied that there's some scrollability
Yeah,
there.
there's more. Okay.
And now we have all of this room to kind of add what's coming to the picnic. So this is like the raw picnic page. Oh, it deleted the arrows from all boards. No, it didn't. Oh, the background
Oh, the
arrow.
back, yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah,
Who cares?
You can put it back in the symbol.
Yeah, or
It will be like
maybe it'll
everywhere.
come back one day on its own. That was cool. That was successful. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Who needs to go back? Millennials are confident people. They only go forward. But you get the point. Okay, so we have this picnic page, and it has like a kind of overarching summary of the details and the attendees. And one can assume that by clicking on this, you're brought back to some kind of overview of where it is. So you're brought back to some kind of iteration of that. And the host would be able to edit it, and the attendee would not be able to edit it.
Oh, I see what
But
you
those are kind of secondary screens, you know? We're just focusing on that kind of overarching idea. And these aren't really even wireframes so much as like concepts, like very, very high level, almost like a sketch of like, hey, here's one way to explore this idea.
Okay.
You know? We're not saying anything set in stone. This is very experimental. So if that is all just represented as we need some place to actually put the content. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that the remaining space on screen is for showing what's going to be brought to the picnic. And maybe this is where, so this space right here, and then it says, this might be a good place to show what you're going to bring to the picnic. So maybe this is where to bring the basket in. Do we have another icon? Sticknic? I'm not really sure what that even... Oh, sticker plus
yeah, for
picnic.
stickers.
Very literal. Ooh, this is a good icon. Now we can even... Look at that. Maybe this is unnecessarily. And again, I don't care too much about the visuals. I just want things to be visual enough so that
Nice.
we can understand or infer what each thing is supposed to mean.
Cecilia will work on it later.
Cecilia will, deal with the grunt work, the kind of the gross bits of just coloring it in. I mean, just click on it and, I don't know, put some millennial pink gradients on it and call it a day.
We're done.
But that's not really, that's not my responsibility.
So Jordan is
Whoa,
asking,
what is-
so can you create apps out of this? I'm new, I apologize. So with XD, so you want to make sure, so here like we're experimenting of what would be the experience, how many screens do we need, what should be on each screen, how to navigate. So you need to validate all these points, and you can create an interactive prototype that you can share with anyone on the web. You can also do a live preview on an iPhone and have users like testing your prototype. And once you feel strong, and you can bring some UI elements, but once you feel very strong about the experience, then you can hand off this experience to developers, and depending on the platform, they will use Xcode or they will use
So
Eclipse.
this is a tool really for kind of creating what the experience is going to be and making sure that it's something worth making and actually mapping it out so that a developer can then come in and bring it to life.
Yeah. So maybe we can take 3 minutes at the end also to show how you can share it to other designers and other developers.
Totally, yeah. Okay, so feeling pretty good about this now. Very unvisual, or untext based.
Text,
Very extreme visual, which if we go back into our principles,
And Federico,
extremely
yes,
visual,
all the
extremely
wireframe
simple.
elements are included in XD. It's called a UI kit. So if you do file, open the UI kits, you will see there is one for iOS, one for Google Materials, one for Windows, and there is this new wireframe kit. Sam Cummings asked, do you guys normally draw out ideas or go straight to using software? I would say that like before drawing or even sketching on paper, you have this entire process that Zack was sharing with us.
Yeah,
right?
if you're coming in late, there's a
lot of questions before.
Yeah, there's typically a pretty lengthy and I mean, we move quickly, but it's important to ask a lot of questions and do research and really think through situations before showing up in the screens. But in the interest of time, we're moving really, really fast today. But also, even in these screens, we don't worry too much about the visuals because again, someone like Cecilia will show up later. A dedicated, kind of visual janitor is kind of what I would think of her as.
Okay.
Who comes in with her mop, in this case, a tool that might make things visually cleaner, and then kind of leaves before we show up in the morning again. Was how I would describe her role in this.
She's a leader too.
Yeah. So this is the picnic screen where we might want to bring supplies, and where maybe later we'll see what people are bringing. But in terms of supplies, maybe this is where you might pick what you're going to bring. So this is a great time to use the grid tool to find the stickers of supplies, and maybe there's categories even. So actually, what kind of categories of things might you bring to a picnic? Food, of course.
Drinks, food.
Okay.
Items that you would bring on the floor. You
Okay.
need glasses, like
So
Plates.
it could just be like food and tools, or like food and
Yeah.
utensils or whatever, and that might cover the two categories. So we might just want to have an icon for like a food icon,
blankets,
a food icon, and like
Patrice says games. Yeah, could be some items too.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let's just do 3 boxes for,
Paperware,
right. And those might represent the different categories. And for consistency and simplicity, we're just going to, again, just say, fine, these are the 3 different categories. And I understand maybe I should have used a grid for that, but it doesn't matter. I will use a grid for the next part. So just for clarity here, we are going to say, yeah, so we're in the food section. And we'll come up with better titles later. Justin Mrazek says desert khakis and MREs. So if this was a Burning Man picnic, that might be a very valid thing to bring. Meals ready to eat, desert khakis, some things you probably shouldn't say on the air, but important to bring, among other things. And I'm realizing this color is maybe a bit too dark for the screen. There we go.
Here we go.
So right now, and we'll get to the flow in a second, but this is going to be where you pick what you're going to bring. So let's say we want 3 of these per screen. Let's do a grid. Oh, too big. So if I'm not mistaken...
Yeah, just double click on one and to resize all of them.
Look at that. Incredible. Science has gone so far. Okay. And then we want to shrink the gap until we can fit them all. Boom. Incredible. So we're going to pretend that each one of these is a sticker, right?
Okay.
And that it goes forever. Oh, we want the margins to be smaller.
With the cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's pretend this is a food category. Obviously, we want these to be stickers. Jeez, you know.
What is this?
I'm really not having a lot of luck with these stock images. Oh, this is great. This is great. We found it. Incredible. Go back. Oh, hideous. Beyond hideous. These are all different things that you might bring to a picnic. A peach.
Yeah, fruit. A peach.
A strawberry.
Just one.
An off-brand royalty-free minion. Some kind of ugly creature. Coffee. If you're French.
Yeah. Good point. Chocolate, yeah.
A donut thing. An ugly pizza. Some carrots. Like an orange kind of repulsive thing.
A cherry.
An eggplant.
And a hot dog.
And a banana.
Okay.
Jeez, what's going on there? All right, I think I broke it.
Item, but it's good.
Okay, so we understand now that these are kind of ways that you might add.
So you would drag and drop them to the top, or how would it work?
Wait 1 sec. I'm just going to put it. So yeah, we might want to say that you. I'm just trying to make it clear that these are like stickers. You know, they're like kind of movable elements, and it appears that a weird banana thing has gotten stuck. That there's some kind of glitch in the matrix.
There's a banana glitch, right?
Yeah, I think I found it. There's like a banana
So
stuck.
if you open here,
This happens a lot.
so if you click here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have and click here.
I can't.
Here.
There's like a rogue banana in the screen.
So select the artboard, just to show you how the layers panel works, because it's contextual. So if you select the artboard,
Yeah.
It should show you. Okay, you can go. It's somewhere at the bottom.
Oh, I really don't like this banana, but I just don't really want to find it.
Oh yeah, why is it all these?
All right, well, maybe I'll
Is it
just
the same
let me
thing?
just Control Z for a bit until the
No,
banana
no,
goes
just,
away. It went away. It's fine. Everyone's
Oh,
happy.
okay. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Plant.
We're gonna give it these a little bit of a corner radius so we can understand
Rogue band.
that we know that they are stickers. Oh, too much, too far. Boom. So we're just pretending here that this might be food, and that the other squares might represent something else. So really quickly, let me just let me drop some icons in so it's clear what this means. Horrible search results. Not Adobe's fault, my fault for not knowing what to. So what would be a good symbol for food?
A food basket. I don't know.
Oh, food basket. Great idea. And obviously, these are going to be beautiful stickers. Very millennial. Oh, perfect.
Oh, here you go.
Extremely millennial. And so that's what they've selected. But there's also going to be,
cool.
Let's find a picnic blanket one really fast. And again, you guys, these are not the final visuals. Cecilia or another visual janitor, if you will come later and clean it up for me. But I'm just kind of basically creating a blueprint using wireframes that are basically instructions for how this should look visually and where things should be arranged. But I'm not going to be spending my time doing the visuals right now. I'm just kind of laying out the basics. This is good. This is good. Kind of and you know, maybe the last thing might be games. Frisbee.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've seen better icons before, but you know, what are we gonna do? Okay. So this might represent two categories. I'm gonna actually make these both to show that they're not selected.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this screen is like kind of the key area where one would select things that they're bringing to the picnic, and then how do you think, what would be a good way for them to just add it? They click it, and then they give the thumbs up. Maybe that's a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also, you know, I think designing icons and stickers is something that's useful and important, and it helps with the brand language, and it, you know, lets people know, oh, I'm only getting the Facebook thumbs up. Maybe this kind of gross thumbs up thing will be good for now. Or we could just actually use the same thing, so it just says...
Oh, it's added. Yeah.
Yeah. That you click it again to add them, and that this kind of just hovers. So let's have like a slight... Oh, you know what? Maybe we'll just have this guy in the top. Because I want to basically just have a button where they select what they want, and then they click add. So maybe to make it as non-intrusive as possible, it's just clear that they hit, you know, add this. So, oh, I haven't been able to select that little guy for some reason. 1 second.
There you go.
Boom. So they click add. Maybe that's just a... All right, whatever. They're going to click add. It's going to be great. Everyone's happy. They click the stickers they want, and they are able to drop them in. So let's just say for now that that's how they do it. Mm-hmm. And we can maybe find some way later. And maybe this has an inventory. When they click it, it populates right here.
There's a tiny animation, so they understand that it moves to them.
Ooh, that actually might be a really good idea. We could do just a little gray box, and they start out empty, and then when you select things, they fill up the boxes.
Like in video games.
And it's clear that that's your basket, that this is your basket down here. Boom. Brilliant. Brilliant. Do you want to just file the paperwork to patent that now?
Sure.
After the show? Okay. Thank you. Repeat grid. That's perfect. So when you click the things, they end up in your basket. It's great. Fantastic. Okay.
Okay. I have some.
Yeah,
We
let's
have
look
about
at look at some.
We have 8 minutes before looking at the entries.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Maybe
any
you
other-
want to show how to.
Yeah,
connect
let's do
the
that now.
screens? Yeah.
Let me just drop.
And maybe we can show how to share it.
Yeah,
with other
perfect.
people.
You'll have to show me too.
Mhm.
I know, of course, but we'll pretend that I don't. All right, so let's wire this up really fast, and we'll. So I'm gonna stop and prototype this really fast, just to kind of
Okay.
show the flow,
Awesome.
and talk over what it is that's going on here. And of course, we've kind of overlooked a lot of things, but we're just trying to kind of capture the essence of what this might be. And then later we will kind of, really think things through. So, for all of those who are just joining, or for all those millennials who don't understand anything until it's shown to them very visually, this is a calendar sticker app. But it's more than that. It's only for picnics. And that's the value right there. So what makes this a $10 million app instead of a $500,000 app is not only the stickers, but the incredible niche specificity of what it's for. Millennials who don't have time to read or write and can only use stickers to communicate their ideas. So for someone like Justin watching, for someone like Cecilia, for people who are just too busy to read, we have stickers and very, very basic crude emojis to help them.
Time saver.
Right. And it's also for many others as well. So what we've done so far is kind of come up with this concept and persona and then figured out what is the ideal journey for how this might happen. And this is our very kind of first pass at like, hey, here's maybe one approach that we might use to help people create an event using purely visual language and then add to that. So I arrive here as the ambitious millennial picnicker, and it's new picnic, and I don't even have to see the word calendar. I'm just so repulsed
I know.
by the idea of text.
And you will see numbers, so you're like, oh yeah.
I'm
it's a
so
calendar.
and I see numbers, and I say, oh, that looks good. I like that. What is that? Is maybe that's an 8,
Yeah, I like the.
And I say, oh, you know what? December 25th. I want a Christmas picnic. So I say Christmas picnic. Good. Next time. Now a clock would be here, and again, some numbers I don't understand, but I say, I like that one right there. 6 p.m. It's gonna be a dark picnic, cold. Next, location, and maybe it only highlights parks. Wouldn't that be fancy? What if you could only select places with grass?
Oh, that would be fancy.
Right, but that would exclude
Especially
a
if
lot of the Tenderloin and Soma. Which
Yeah,
is
but
kind
if
of
it's sponsored by Parks and Recreation.
that'd be great. Or if it
That
literally,
makes sense.
maybe there's a list as well.
Yeah.
A list view of the parks or visuals. That could be great.
With the distance. And stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So, maybe for our next romantic rooftops, for
Oh, yeah.
instance.
Good
I know
point,
a
Michel.
great rooftop on 7th and Howard. That's really, really nice. Golf courses for Justin. Squatters. Will Holt, the Parks and Rec idea, that might be useful.
Yeah.
If this could
Parkings.
only be used in public-sponsored parks, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indoor. If it's indoor, it's not a picnic.
Yeah.
It's just a potluck.
Missing the ponds. But
Big, yeah. It's different. BYO turf. All right.
okay.
Interesting
the location.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Waste bins. Is that a name for the app, or that?
Or a place. to
Are
have
you
picnic.
calling millennials waste bins? I'm not sure what your
Yeah,
comment
it's,
is.
or a place to have a
That's a
picnic
bit
there.
mean thing to say about millennials. Play and stand traps as well. Yes. So, finally, this symbol means friends, and I can scroll through my contacts. Again, this is kind of a cool feature here that you can kind of enable scrolling and show like, okay, yeah. And I see, okay, do I want to invite John Doe, or do I want to invite John Doe, or do I want to invite John Doe? So I click on all the John Does I want to invite, and I click go, and I see my summary. So where this little calendar smiley is, I would hit, I would see an actual number there. Time, I would see a number. Map, I would see a location, and then I would see all the attendees. Boom. Here I am. The picnic page. I have on
Summary.
top, right? I have a summary. I can see the people there, and this convention is something that you see pretty often, where it implies that there's horizontal scrolling. Yes, Adobe
with the
XD
cutoff.
it does exist. Well,
Adobe XD. Yeah, it was in beta, Faris, for 1 year and a half, and it has been released officially in October. So it's part of Creative Cloud, and you can visit xd.adobe.com and download the free trial if you want to give it a try.
Yeah. So here we are in the picnic page, and this probably wouldn't be blue. This is not a final design. This is just a placeholder to show what kind of contents need to be there. A very basic blueprint. You don't look at an architectural blueprint and say, "Why is that blue? It's supposed to be wood." Mm-hmm. That's a common misunderstanding. Then you have someone like Cecilia come in and really kind of make this beautiful.
Woody.
Cecilia probably wouldn't make it green. Cecilia would probably make it millennial pink. Rose quartz. I don't know the hex code for that.
She will let us know.
She'll let us know. Or there might be different themes. If it's by the Park Service, they might want a different kind of brand dress altogether. They might want to kind of have like a green and brown kind of very national park-like kind of color scheme to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we have this kind of blank canvas. And you know what would be really, really smart? If this was a picnic blanket. In fact, I'm so inspired. Just looking at this, wouldn't that be great as a visual metaphor for what's coming?
To have a
Yeah, let's see it. Wow, wouldn't that be something?
And you could do a top view.
So let's go back into design, and let's just experiment with what that might mean right for a second. And let's rotate it.
Yeah.
And again, we'll aestheticize this later. We're gonna make this just a beautiful thing to behold in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They keep telling me there's question marks everywhere.
Did you?
But you know what? I like to live a life of mystery, so that's fine. And no, it's that my Creative Cloud is confused because I have the 2014 version and the 2018 version and the 2015 version and the 2018 version.
I had the same issue.
That's just the way I live. Sorry.
So if you go back to the prototype, it should be there actually. Yeah.
Whoa! Look at that. So, but you know what? If we actually want to...
to be consistent and put it in.
Right. Let's send this to the back. Yeah, but it's cool. We'll just send it to the back.
Oh, yeah.
And this actually might be a very hideous way of dealing with things. This might be just an absolutely ridiculous
idea.
Just an utterly abhorrent, just phenomenally bad UI decision. But, it's an experiment. So actually, that might be kind of a good visual metaphor of what you're bringing. So let's go back here. And so I hit create picnic. Boom. Here we are. I have all my info up here. I have who's attending. I have my empty picnic blanket. Very sad. Going to be a lonely picnic. We're probably going to have much better visuals, again, than this kind of tapestry. But we'll let others do that. So now we need to bring some things. Like we were talking about earlier, this is where probably the host view would converge with the attendee view.
Yeah.
And so whether or not I am the millennial popular party planner or just a vagrant who happened to be invited to this one-time event, I'm seeing the screen and I say, what might I bring to this very empty picnic? So I open up this, and luckily it's the only real actionable thing on screen. No distractions, really.
Yeah.
What do I want to bring?
You have 3 categories.
Yeah.
You're in the food one.
Food, blankets and decor and games. And in this case, I want to bring like a minion jelly bean, like a minion with like a Tropicana hat, and like an ugly, like a strawberry kissing something. So, you know, I click those. We haven't designed the screens yet. Boom. I brought them. It's populated my screen. It shows that I'm there and that these are the things I'm bringing. And we can imagine that as users show up on here, this list becomes populated, it becomes scrolling, and the picnic blanket extends to show what everyone's bringing. And it's very literal, visual metaphor, maybe very heavy-handed.
Yeah,
But
it speaks to everyone. Eh?
Right, and millennials need that kind of strong visual reinforcement. Again, very
Like in video games.
right. They need very literal reminders of things. But in this case, it's great because, you know, let's imagine that this profile icon is populated by an image of me or an image of you, and then the food I'm bringing, and there is no words at all.
Yeah.
And even new picnic, we could probably have some kind of iconography to represent an event, maybe a hat. And in doing so, we really have no text at all. We just have this beautiful visual sticker-centric experience.
Henrik is suggesting we could have weather forecast in the app, and again, something that we can express very visually. So yeah,
Right,
that would make sense.
right. Exactly. There could be the weather just hovering over here. It could show that it's raining on our picnic blanket or whatever.
Cool.
You know, in this.
So it will be time to review the entries.
Okay.
Before, can you close this prototype?
Yeah.
Just click on the share icon. I just want to show.
Let's save it first. I'm afraid that it.
Yeah.
Okay. Share.
And share. So you have two ways to share. There is publish prototypes and publish design specs. So this is actually what they did.
Yeah.
So we will directly show what it creates. Okay.
Okay.
So the theme of the day was an in-car experience. So we have our first entry, and you have to pick the one you prefer.
Okay.
So that's the first one. Okay, very safe. Information about the speed. Navigation bar here. Okay, we have some navigation in Amsterdam. Oh, that's the GPS view actually.
Okay.
And the music with a waveform.
Sure.
Music is being played.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome driver 1. So this is another experience. Mom's gas shop home author. Where are we going today? Also, I guess it's favorites, I would say.
A little restrictive.
Oh my God. That dear, pay attention to your driving. Oh, okay, it's speaking to you.
Right.
And we have all the stage. Okay.
Sure. Very alarming to see that.
Yeah, very alarming. And I'm not sure you can. I hope there is audio, because if you have to read the screen, so oh my God, there is a deer.
You're going to end up killing
You're
the
gonna
deer.
hit the deer. Yeah.
All right.
Whoa, look at that.
Very Minority
Very
Report.
Yeah, sci-fi. Welcome back, Matthias. That's, with the AC control, Imagine Dragons, very good choice.
You think so?
Yeah,
All right.
I like Imagine Dragons. Okay. Yeah, I dig it.
Okay.
Where to? Oh,
That's
you can.
great.
You can
I
speak.
like that. The first
Audio
reference
control.
to voice control.
Yeah,
so that's
good.
important.
Music. There we go.
Yeah.
Call. Recent calls. Okay. With
Okay, good.
very funny friends.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
Nice. Solid. That's good.
Yeah. So you want to save this one from
Yeah.
memory? Matthews. Okay.
Oh, off to a good start, though.
Welcome, Steve. Okay, continue. Please keep an eye on the road. Happy life. Okay.
It's a lot of
A
info.
lot of info, but it's very clean.
It is clean.
Navigation. Also music recently played.
Also
Imagine Dragons.
Is there
Yeah,
is that is there a template
Interesting.
that everyone's using?
Yeah, maybe.
Because I really hope that they're not that popular.
I hope it's still a little bit indie, but yeah, maybe
Okay.
not. Maybe not anymore. Car settings, here's search engine,
Okay.
and 3D navigation. Nice.
Okay. Cool.
Another one focusing on navigation. There is voice control too. You say play my list, and now it's playing the track.
Uh-huh.
Or call mom. Okay,
Sure.
with navigation.
Yeah.
Simple and efficient. Welcome, Vince. Okay, that's the navigation. It's not Imagine Dragons, so we're making progress.
I like Will Holt's name suggestions as well. Very innovative copywriter. Picnic with Andre is good.
Here we have a 3D navigation and the music on the left. Okay, and Dad is calling. Okay, so the experience is on the left.
Yeah.
And I think this is something we reviewed in the first episode, actually. It rings a bell. Another one. Okay, speaks to you as if you want to use your usual radio station.
Okay.
Oh, and all the radio station, navigation control. Where do you want to listen? Where do you want to go?
Okay.
Welcome.
So it's implied that it's all visual.
Yeah, in this case, yeah. Here, just voice recognition.
Where do you want to go?
Who do you want to call?
Where do you want to go? Always Powell Street. Yeah.
Yeah. We were very close yesterday. We had dinner very close.
And
Colors, language, Bluetooth settings, sound control. And this is the core theme, I guess.
okay.
To change the core
Very,
theme.
very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Why not?
Why not?
Good afternoon, Dave. Okay. So navigation on the left.
There's a lot
speed,
of
yeah,
info.
lot of
I'm
info.
I would probably hit a pedestrian if I had
Just
it.
looking at the screen.
Right.
And here, so this is when you publish a prototype, and here this is when you publish the design specs. So this is more for another designer or for a developer. So you can get, like the dimensions of everything, the space.
Yeah.
You can press Alt, and also if you have all the colors and all the textiles used in the document. So these are the design specs.
Right.
Okay, 3 more to review. Okay, safety first. Put on your seat belts. Fondu. Okay. Oh, okay. Climate, car status. Oh, it's more like to diagnose the car.
Yeah.
Go front camera.
Oh wait, no, I like that. Anytime that someone types my name into their design,
It's a bonus
we put them
point.
to the top of the list.
Bonus point.
Yeah.
Okay. Have 2 more.
But they got my phone number wrong, so
Weather, phone, navigation, music status. Okay. Okay, nice. And 1 more
yeah.
with Bob Marley. A lot of information.
This is a
here.
lot.
Wow. This is a
Again,
lot.
very, very likely I would hit. If this was on the screen, I would probably hit a
Okay.
family crossing the street if I had to digest all that at once.
So you have 30 seconds to pick the one you like.
This one.
Matthias?
Yeah.
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 So, yeah.
I don't like the Imagine Dragons at the top. I would prefer that they didn't do that. But otherwise,
I'm okay with that.
Otherwise,
I'm okay
I think
with
it's really nice, not just visually, but in terms of just voice centric.
Mm-hmm.
Even the home screen is just the bare minimum information.
Yeah, phone
So-
connected with Bluetooth, yeah.
Yeah, and just that reduction of visual noise is important. I mean, it's well executed, but more importantly, from UX perspective, it's just the key information and not just every conceivable data point that one has in their world. So,
Yeah.
Well done.
Congratulations, Matthias.
yeah.
Okay, so it's time to say goodbye to our friends for today, but you will be back tomorrow, Zach.
Yes.
Actually, there is a surprise for you tomorrow. We will have Tom Crusher, who is one of the creators of Adobe XD, who will be live with us. And
Where is he going to sit?
We'll find a seat for him. Yeah. Maybe in the back or under the table. Yeah,
That's fine.
We'll find something. But again, what's the plan for tomorrow? We have no idea.
We don't know.
Yeah, because
And
we
I'm
use the-
pleased with this today. If anyone wants to make a picnic sticker app, we haven't copyrighted, patented this
Yeah.
concept just yet. So good luck.
Yeah, just go for
Yeah.
it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for the inputs and for the fun. We are still live. Okay, we'll be back live in about 5 minutes with Paul Trani and Team Hikes. So stay tuned. Keep working on the dating app. And Zach, see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Farewell.
Bye everyone. Thanks for watching.